Morning, this is Brian. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024, and I am here for the third week in a row in the Laguna Mountains, Cleveland National Forest. Over here at the Agua Dulce Trailhead. This time, I am trying to hit a couple of small peaks in the area. One of them's on Peak Bagger. One of them is nothing but an elevation ring on the topo maps. First of which should be able to reach that one with relative ease. Second of which, we'll see about that. We'll see how that goes. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the Agua Dulce Trailhead parking area, and I'm going to head downhill on this road for a short distance. And I'm going to look for a junction of roads and trails near the bottom of that. And try to find a faint single track to get up to the first peak. And that one is, I believe, listed on Peak Bagger as Peak 5961. That one's listed, I think it's near the Los Gatos Trailhead. Or at least if I look on Google Earth, it says Los Gatos Trailhead at the junction of those roads. So I'm going to head down this Forest Service road here, look for that junction, and I'm going to look for a trail going up to my right to get up to hill or peak 5961. And I believe that is on Peak Bagger if I remember correctly. Now on the left side, there's a really small hill that tops out just barely 6,000 feet, maybe just a couple feet above it. So that'll be peak 6,000. And that one's going to require just some off-trail hiking. No trail to that one. And then maybe later I might link up with Wooded Hill. Might do that one, maybe. But it's a very beautiful morning here in the Agua Dulce area. Maybe later, if I have enough energy, maybe even check out the ravine underneath, where there's supposed to be a really beautiful trail with some larger trees, some trees that are a little bit larger, some larger trees, and a population of incense cedar, which is not super common here in the lagunas. But the Agua Dulce ravine area down below us is supposed to have a pretty decent population of incense cedar growing in the canyon bottom. And I've seen people's hikes of that area, so I've seen incense cedar trees all over. There are a couple planted over at the trailhead, along with a giant sequoia. I'll just point those out probably on my way back, well, when I'm back at the car. But well, this is a very beautifully forested area here. This is absolutely stupendously gorgeous here. We're just a little below 6,000 feet right now. Just a little below it. Well, the trailhead back there is about 5,900, 5,950, somewhere around that. So I'm going to be heading downhill on this for a little while. And when I come to the junction of all those roads, I'm going to look to see if I can see a single track faint trail that leads up the hill to peak 5961. So we'll see if I should be able to manage that. I'll keep my eyes out for that, and I'm just going to keep hiking this for a while. Alright, so I'm sauntering down this. It's a very large Palmer ceanothus. Very large specimens. This is, I believe, if I remember correctly, this is the area where I did the spotlight video on Palmer ceanothus back in 2022. Alright, so I think the peak I'm supposed to climb is somewhere off on that side there. So I'm trying to keep an eye out for roads and stuff. So on the way back, we'll see. I did see one sign on this side of the road that said trail closed to all users. There was like an old faded trail. So I don't know, we'll see. Because Peak 6000 would be up this way somewhere. But I just got to keep hiking until I find the junction of roads and everything. That's a really nice area. Very nice area here. So, ooh, some rose hips. Rosa californica. Wow, yeah, that's very beautiful. Very neat. All right, well. Yeah, I want to say my peak's going to be over there somewhere. Or maybe it's over here. It's not a very far distance. I don't know. We'll see. Let me keep on hoofing it around, and when I get to the junction of roads, I'll have a better idea. We're coming through where piece of the Big Laguna Trail cuts, I believe. And I see a sign for the Big Laguna Trail. Unless the road, I think the road itself might actually be part of it. So I'm kind of curious. So I'm wondering if my peak's going to be up here. I think it is. Let me see. Here's a junction right here. This might be a really short hike. All right. So there's a piece of the Big Laguna Trail there. Here's a dirt road. I remember seeing this on the Google imagery as well. And there's a very faint single track right there. Let me see what that sign there says. If that says trail closed, I'm going to respect it, because that's just what I do. Can't tell yet. Yep. Yeah. Oh, that figures. That figures. That figures. Well, if it says the area is closed, I'm gonna follow it and respect it. Yeah. I do off-trail hiking, but only where it's permitted. And that's actually a faint use trail. Like I said, I only do that kind of hiking, cross-country hiking where it's allowed. So I guess I'll follow this for a while. Well, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of disappointing. It's kind of looking forward to checking that area out. Really want to get up to that peak. It is a little disappointing, not gonna lie. But again, I'm not going to go out of my way to do that. I'm guessing probably that side is too. Just because I don't run the risk of getting caught doesn't mean it's really okay to do it. So I try to be respectful to the land, and I try to preach that on my channel, to be respectful. You know, if it says stay out, there's a reason why it says stay out. It's either private property, habitat restoration, some kind of unseen danger. So a lot of times it's just best to just take the L and just be respectful. So I'm guessing the title of this video is going to be a little bit different than what I was originally going to title it. But let's see. Let's go see where this road heads. Looks like it's heading down into that ravine. Trees are starting to get a little taller. Got a lot of California rose on the side of the old road bed here. Yeah. And I'm trying not to point the camera too much forward because the sun is directly in my line of sight, so I'm heading kind of east-northeast right now. And as we're going down in this canyon, I just noticed a nice temperature drop. Not only that, California goldenrod lighting up the side of the trail. It's not in full peak bloom yet, but it's definitely really picking up steam. It's going to get more so into September and early October. All right, so I guess I'll go head down this for a while, see where this leads. This might lead down to that Agua Dulce Ravine area. I'm just very curious to see what I'll find over here. I wonder if I'll find those incense cedar trees I was talking about in the previous clip. Oh, Utah serviceberry. I found one of these. Ooh, it's got some pomes on it. Ooh, those are so cool. They look like little berries, but they're actually pomes. They're fairly close. They're fairly closely related in the same tribe as the apples and the pears in the Malii group of the rose family. The rose family is divided up into different sections and in different groups within those sections. In fact, so you have the rosoids, the ones that are more closely related to roses. And then you have the ones that have the drupes and the pomes, which is the subfamily Amygdaloideae. That includes the cherries, apricots, peaches, but it also includes the pomiferous plants, like the rose family staple, the apple. The rose family staple, the apple. The apple's part of the Amygdaloideae subfamily, but within that subfamily, it's in its own tribe called the Malii, which contains the pome-bearing shrubs and trees, like the toyon, the serviceberry. So we're getting down into this canyon, hoping this is going to lead to where there's a population of incense cedar. Kind of hoping that. So this is going to be a pretty interesting little upside down hike where I hike down and then hike back up at the end. I'm taking advantage of the cooler temperatures of the morning. So yeah. So the subfamily is Amygdaloideae, where the apples, anything from apples to peaches, nectarines, and toyons. But within that is a subgroup called the Malii, which is where the apples are. Here's another serviceberry right here. So you can kind of see how it is related to apples. You can kind of see the little calyx lobes, these little green things at the end of the fruit between my fingers. Those are the calyx lobes from the sepals of the flowers, and that's very common to see in pome-bearing fruits. If you look at the bottom end of an apple, you'll see little leaf-like appendages. Those are the calyx lobes. All right, so let's go head down this canyon. Yeah, the trees are getting taller, so we might get into some big trees maybe. So let's see. Let's get this adventure going. All right, so I'm heading down this canyon. Yeah, we're getting some bigger Jeffrey pines now. Oh, we're actually starting to get some big trees. Ah, there's a pretty big Jeffrey pine right here. That's these canyon bottoms, I'll tell you. This is where the action really happens. And the temperature's about 20 degrees cooler down here too. It's nice and crisp. So I might see if this trail leads back to the trailhead, maybe. Yeah, now we're starting to get some tall Jeffrey pines now. Okay, we're starting to get some bigger stuff. Kind of suspecting that would be the case. Sure was hoping that would be the case. All right, this is what I'm talking about. That's a pretty tall one. Like I said, Laguna Mountains, it's less rain, and there's less rain here. I think it's supposed to be one of the snowiest mountain communities here in San Diego County. I think this area gets the most amount of snow, but on a yearly bit, I think the rainfall totals less, from what I understand. Because it's behind Cuyamaca. It's behind Cuyamaca Peak. So that has part to do with it here, but yeah, so you won't expect normally the trees to get quite as large as they would in, say, Cuyamaca or Palomar, areas that catch the first batch of the rain. But when we're down in this canyon, the trees are definitely larger. There's a nice western chokecherry thicket right here. This one's got a nice little thicket action going here. So yeah, I'm hoping this leads. Oh yeah, I can already see an incense cedar already, so I think I'm heading the right way. I can see one kind of off on the hill on the other side of the canyon. So maybe we'll get some more incense cedar action. Yeah, this is absolutely beautiful here. Oh, the air is nice, cool. It's probably in the low 50s right now, maybe? Low 50s? Feels great. It's definitely going to feel good trying to climb up that steep part there on the way back out. But just curiosity right now is taking over, and I want to see what's popping off over here. Wow, here's a pretty decent sized California black oak right here. This one ain't lacking in size. There's a nice Jeffrey pine right there too. Yeah, there was one other area that had some pretty decent sized trees. Actually, in some areas, actually some pretty legitimately large trees, and that was Noble Canyon. I did that back in October last year. Upper Noble Canyon had some pretty big trees, even some big pines and some huge canyon live oaks. Here, it's California black oak is our predominant tree. Look at that massive root burl in this Quercus callugii. Wow, yeah, that's a massive root burl. That's why they're able to sprout after fire and cutting down. But yeah, starting to see incense cedar popping in as we go down this canyon. And boy, is it looking exquisite. And the temperature's even gone down a few more degrees. Yeah, that's why I love canyon bottoms in the morning. All right, so yes, I am starting to see incense cedars popping up. Some young ones. Gosh, this is absolutely insanely beautiful. Here's a young incense cedar right here, Calocedrus decurrens. And you can tell it's definitely a little wetter down in this canyon. Probably retains moisture a lot longer. Yeah, there's an incense cedar chock full of developing seed cones. Wow, yeah, this is gorgeous. It's starting to remind me a little bit of Upper Noble Canyon. Now, when I went down Upper Noble Canyon back in October last year, that was a sight to behold. Oh yeah, definitely a lot more incense cedar popping up. Gosh, this is incredible. Oh yeah, these trees are much bigger down here. Yeah. There's double fork Jeffrey pine here. I wouldn't say they're huge trees compared to what I've seen in the San Bernardino Mountains or the San Jacinto Mountains, but for this area, I mean, these are definitely respectable sized trees in their own right. And they're not old growth trees at all. But definitely, for this area, these trees are pretty tall. Definitely some of these are definitely a bit over 100 feet tall. Yeah, you can see more incense cedar right there. A lot of incense cedar saplings too. Well, an incense cedar starts reproducing, it reproduces like crazy. Incense cedar can cover almost like you're looking at a hedge of them, or like a whole field of incense cedars when they get going. Because once they get going, they don't stop. Incense cedars are very, very proliferate. Very proliferate breeders. Yeah, this is definitely the ravine I was thinking about. This is definitely it. Yeah, this is absolutely drop dead, beautifully gorgeous. I'm sure glad I came down here. At least this trail's not steep, so going back, just that one spot when I round the corner. I gotta still make sure I'm looking at Jeffrey pine. Yeah, these look like Jeffrey pines still. Ponderosa is really not known for this area. There's some records on Calflora, but I think they're pretty sus. Ooh, is that a red tail hawk calling up in the... Thought I heard a red tail hawk calling up in there. No, that's something else. Never mind. Oh my God, man. This is absolutely gorgeous. Wow, this is unbelievable. This is beautiful. Might not be easy to get good photos over here because it's still kind of dark down here. But let's see what else I find. I found some old spring down here. Some little trickling spring. There we go with the incense cedar. Look at this one was burnt years ago. Oh, the tree's still very much alive. Yeah. Agua Dulce Ravine, I think is what this is called. It has a little spring down here and everything. See if I can cross that. Looks like there's a trail branching off here. It just kind of just stops right there, though, I think. Oh, there's still some roses blooming down here, too. Some of these roses still have some blooms on them. Gosh. Wow, it's absolutely unbelievably beautiful here. Yeah, that's why I love hiking in canyons. The trees get much bigger. Trees get much bigger in these canyons. I love being around big trees. And we're starting to get some canyon live oaks popping up too. Over there's a canyon live oak. Looks like the imagery's a little fuzzy on my camera. Yeah, we do have some Quercus chrysolipus popping up here, finally. Yeah. What a beautiful place this is. Sheesh, man. Gosh. Gosh. This is absolutely stupendously beautiful here. Can't believe the roses still have blooms on them down here. I'm sure glad I made it a third week in a row to the mountains. After this week, it might be a couple weeks before I get back when the heat kicks in. Oh man, sure is nice here though. Here's a decent sized Jeffrey pine right here. That's a pretty decent sized one. Oh, there's a decent one right there too. Dang. Okay. Yeah, we do have some pretty big trees here. Like I said, if you're looking for record size stuff, if you're looking for some much larger, much bigger trees, you have the San Bernardino Mountains and obviously the Sierras, but down here, man, some pretty decent sized stuff down here too. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Here's some pretty decent sized Jeffrey pines. I think we got creeping snowberry here. Symphoracarpos mollis. Looks like we got that growing here too. And the weather is absolutely perfect for hiking. Nice little bit of coolness in the air. Nice bit of coolness in the air being down in these ravines. I'm just wondering how much further I'm going to keep following this. I just keep being drawn more towards it. I know I'm going to have a bit of a climb on the way out, but the more I see here, the more I want to keep exploring. And wow, look at these beautiful Jeffrey pines. Goodness gracious. Look at this. I wanted to see some decent sized trees. Well, I'm seeing some decent sized trees. Wow. This is why I love the forest. I love our western forests. They're just so interesting because a lot of them are predominantly conifer forests. And I've always, ever since I was a kid, have had an obsession with coniferous trees. You know, pines, firs, cedars, spruces, hemlocks, everything like that. Cypresses, junipers, cone-bearing trees. They're evolutionarily older than our flowering plants, like that Douglas mugwort right there. The California rose, the oaks, which are angiosperms for flowering plants. Conifers are much more ancient in lineage. What a beautiful area. And also the incense cedars tend to be younger. So I wonder if them propagating in this area is more of a recent phenomenon. Because there are no really huge incense cedars. There are a lot of larger Jeffrey pines. So I'm wondering if incense cedars are relatively recent arrivals to the area. I'm just kind of curious. Wow. Yeah, this is really, 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 really awesome. Alright, I gotta get some photos and we'll see what else I could find here. Here, finally got next to a rose. This finally got next to one that was still blooming. Rosa californica. And here's more of that snowberry. I'm pretty sure this is Symphoracarpus mollis, creeping snowberry. You can see the white fruits on there. I'm not sure those are botanically berries or drupes. I suspect they're berries, but I'm not 100%. Yeah, each step that I take makes me want to take 10 more. figured this was going to be a real beautiful area, but boy, my expectations are always underwhelming. I mean, let me explain it so it makes sense. Like, and when I say underwhelming, it's not like I don't have high expectations. I always have pretty high expectations when I go to a place that it's going to be awesome. I assume it's going to be awesome because I just have that open-minded feeling that wherever I go is going to have some level of awesomeness. Now, what I mean by I feel that maybe my expectations are underwhelming is because I come expecting it to be awesome, but for some reason, it almost always far exceeds how awesome I think it's going to be. So I come here expecting it to be awesomely wonderful, and then what ends up happening is it actually becomes mind-blowingly awesomely wonderful. So that's kind of what I meant to say. I don't come like, oh, it's just going to be okay. No, I always expect it's going to be awesome, but it ends up being way beyond the awesome that I thought it was going to be. Yeah, this is absolutely breathtaking here. I'm glad we've taken you guys along on this canyon journey here. This is why I love canyons. I love mountain peaks because I love just getting to the top of hills and mountains. I love getting up to those. But I also love canyon bottoms where you can experience the forest at its lushest. And that's why I love canyon bottoms too. There used to be a pretty large incense cedar here. Unfortunately, that one's gone. Here's one here that's pretty decent size. Starting to see some larger incense cedars popping in, so that's pretty good. Okay. Pretty decent size. Yeah, we're starting to get the much larger trees. Well, actually not started, we've been getting it for a while, but yeah, these incense cedars are full of cones in them. I could see. Their cones look like they look like duckbills, especially when they're closed. They look like duckbills. They don't look like your traditional pine or cypress cones. Oh, California goldenrod. But yeah, they look like duckbills when they're closed. They don't look like traditional pine cones when they open either. Hopefully I can get close to some so I can show you. They split open differently. Yeah, they do not look like pine cones at all. Yeah, I might not be getting close to them. Yeah, a lot more incense cedar now. Starting to make this area co-dominant between Jeffrey pine and incense cedar, as opposed to 80% Jeffrey pine, 20% incense cedar. It's almost probably about 60-40. Gosh, this is absolutely stunning down here. I'm wondering if this is going to lead to a meadow or something. Oh, there's some running water down here too. Must be spring fed. Yeah, well, see there it's dry. There must be a spring source right down there, right where my camera's pointing. Because now I see water down there. Spring and underground creek fed. I just keep going down and down this. Ooh, I think there's a big Jeffrey pine up ahead. Not extraordinarily tall, but it looks like it's one of those flat top girthy ones. All right, now we got some fork action over here. We got one going to the right, and we got one going here to the left. Well, the big tree that I was intending on visiting is here to the left. There's a pretty decent Jeffrey pine right here too. Right there, that flat top one right there. eyes are playing tricks on me. I thought I saw a sugar pine, but sugar pine's not known for these from these mountains. Yeah, my mind was playing. It was a Jeffrey pine, but my mind was kind of playing tricks on me. Here's a nice older Jeffrey pine here. Yeah, this one's got some height to it. It's definitely over 100 feet tall. Look at that beautiful cinnamon brown bark. This tree has some age to it too. I wouldn't say it's an insanely old tree, but definitely, this one's definitely has some staying power here in the Lagunas. Yeah, this is a decent sized Jeffrey pine. Acorn woodpeckers are flapping all up in there too. Flapping around all up in that. You can see the little dots all over. Those are the pock marks made by the bills of those woodpeckers. And not just acorn woodpeckers, but we got other species too. Nuthatch, I think nuthatch is, but Lewis woodpeckers found around here, and a couple other species as well. Yeah. I am so glad I'm exploring this area. Here's another. Oh, this one, yeah. Trunk's a little smaller, a little thinner, a little bit younger, I think. Wow. Oh, there's a big incense cedar over there. Oh boy, how did I miss that? That's a pretty big incense cedar right there. Ooh. Oh, so there's some pretty big incense cedars around here. Yeah, further down I go, the bigger the trees seem to get. Okay, wow. That's a W in my book. All right. I'll see you on my next clip. All right, so I just keep going and going and just keep enjoying this. Here's a much bigger Jeffrey pine right here. It's got a little girth to it. It's definitely got some height. Wow, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's close to 150, 140 feet tall. Pretty tall for this relatively drier area here in the mountains. Doesn't look very dry here. This canyon is very steep. Well, not steep walled, but definitely deep enough to retain a lot more moisture much longer. I'm wondering if this is going to lead to a meadow. I suspect it probably is. So that might be my turnaround point, is at the meadow. Yep. Just to think, we are just immediately east of the San Diego metropolitan area. Just east of San Diego. Scarcely an hour's drive east. And look what we have. Magnificent forest of Jeffrey pine and incense cedar, California black oak, and occasional canyon live oaks to sprinkle it up a little bit. Trying to see if this is going to lead out to the meadow. If it does, that'll be my geographical turning point. I have quite a bit of elevation again on the way back. Yeah, this is incredibly beautiful here. This is actually probably, so far, this is probably the most beautiful area I've hiked here. Well, Noble Canyon's another one. And let me tell you, there are a lot of great places here to hike. A lot of insanely beautiful places here in the Lagunas. This is definitely up there. This is definitely at the top of that. This is unbelievably beautiful here. I just can't say enough Words themselves are not enough to describe this. You have to be here in person to experience this. Showing it on camera is great. Seeing it on video is great. You know, hopefully it's inspirational, but it does not compare to the actual act of being out here and hiking this. It does not. There's just so many rose bushes, so many California roses growing along the side of this trail too. So earlier in the summer, this must have been one heck of an olfactory sensation. Alright, so I wonder if let's see here. Now we're starting to thin out a little bit here. We're not going down as much either. Elevation's fairly stable here. Very slight downhill pitch here. Very slight downhill. I assume we're probably approaching a meadow. I see some type of fence posting over here, so maybe there'll be a sign or a trail sign or something around here. I think we are approaching part of the meadow system because the trees are thinning out and getting smaller. So we might be heading more towards a grassland / montane meadow section here. Some kind of barbed wire fence. I guess it's to keep people from going off trail or something. Yeah, this thing's narrowed to a single track now. It was an old double track, and now it's completely narrowed out to a single track. So I'm just going to keep following this for a little bit more and see where this goes. Yeah, look at that. God, what a magnificent canyon. Oh, yeah, we're kind of losing the canyon topography, and now we're more in a gentle, almost, yeah, we're starting to get some more meadow action over here. All right. Well, let's see where this heads, and then I'll start looking for my turnaround point for this hike. My first sign of civilization. Power line wires going through here. Okay, I might be able to make a loop out of this hike. This right here will take you back to the Red Tail Roost. It's part of the Big Laguna Trail. So I could probably cut through there. I might just extend this part out a little bit more. Just explore this a little bit more, but then take off to the Red Tail Roost area. That'll take me back. Of course, I'll probably have to hoof it along Sunrise Highway a little bit, but just kind of want to see what's down in this little bowl down here. Little amphitheater, little tiny bowl. Just want to see that first. Yeah, this will probably be my turnaround point here. I could head up Red Tail Roost, back to the Red Tail Roost Trailhead, and then probably have to hoof it along Sunrise until I get back to the Agua Dulce area, probably. God, this is incredible. I like this. We're kind of in a little, this is not even an amphitheater, it's actually a bowl-shaped drainage here. Oh no, there might be more of a pass over there. Wow, I gotta soak this in for a minute. Wow, look at this. It's a little meadow here, just rimmed by these beautiful Jeffrey pines. This is absolutely fantastic. So I wonder what'll be along the Red Roost section of the Red Tail Roost section of the Big Laguna Trail. I'm just curious. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of bottom out here, I guess. Oh yeah, there's some running water here too. Oh yeah, there's a nice little stretch of water here. Looks like the trail continues going up through that pass over there. Wow, look at that. There goes a woodpecker drilling into the tree. Wow, this is outstanding. I love this little dip right here, surrounded by ravines and trees. Yeah, I can see where the canyon looks like. This isn't really a full bowl, 360-degree bowl, but kind of has that vibe of one. Just want to see what's at the end of this. Wow, this is some wild scenery out here. I suspect northern Arizona is probably similar to this. So I've seen images of it, videos of it. Except these would be ponderosa instead of these Jeffrey pines. But look at that. Yeah, it looks like it goes through another stretch of canyon. Maybe it leaves out by the meadows, maybe. This is wild. I love this. This is one thing about the very gently undulating terrain here of the Laguna Mountains. It does. It just gives you some great perspectives. All right, so this is going to be my turnaround point here, right before I start going up this here. So I'm going to start heading back. I'm going to hit up the Red Tail Roost access on the Big Laguna Trail. I gotta get a few pictures of this area though. So I'll see you on my next clip. I'm gonna start heading back towards that trail junction. All right, so back at the junction. That's from where I came before here on the BLT, Big Laguna Trail. That's where I went down to that little meadow spot. So that's, if I were to make this an out and back, I'd go that way, where I came. However, I'm gonna take this spur of the Big Laguna Trail and I'm gonna work my way back to Red Tail Roost. So I can vary up the scenery and get yet more footage of this awesome place. Wow, I had to stand in that meadow for a few minutes. I took a few pictures and I was just thinking to myself, wow, how absolutely incredible. Oh, speaking of incredible, that's a pretty decent sized Jeffrey pine. I was just thinking to myself, how incredible is this area? How incredible. So now I'm going to get to see another perspective of it. So I was thinking to myself as I was hiking back before this clip started, I was thinking to myself, I've always loved hiking here. There's no doubt about it, but I'm beginning to love it even more and more. The more I come here, Just beginning to love it more and more. So I might have to hoof it along the highway a little bit to get back to the area where I was parked. So it'll be an interesting loop, a very interesting loop hike out of this. I definitely went a lot further than I anticipated, because originally I said I was going to try to hike up to a couple of peaks above where I started hiking down that road, but then I saw the habitat restoration sign. That's when I just decided to hike down and check out that ravine. So it did not disappoint. Now I'm going to have an interesting loop hike out of this. I already did hit a small summit earlier off of Kitchen Creek Road. That was the first video of the day. And this is definitely turning out very beautiful over here too. Oh, here's a much older. Oh, I'm gonna have to take a look at this one. There's something about this pine here, right here. I'm not sure if this is a Jeffrey pine or ponderosa. I'm gonna have to take a look at this one. Yeah, look at the yellow bark. Oh, this is interesting. The bark of this is more ponderosa-like. The cones are saying otherwise, though. But yeah, even Jeffrey pines can get some yellowish in their color. They're much smaller cones. I think it's still a Jeffrey pine, but wow, this was a pretty girthy one. Wow, yeah, I'm glad I'm making a loop out of this. But yeah, this bark is very ponderosa-like. Very ponderosa-like. It's more yellowish. I keep looking at these cones here, and the cone scales, the top of the cone scales, about the same shade of darkness as the bottom, and the cone prickles face down and backwards. So I'm guessing that's still a Jeffrey pine. But that, boy, it sure looks like a ponderosa. Usually if I see that, I'm usually thinking ponderosa right away. That's kind of an interesting tree. It's an old one too. It's a pretty old one. But I looked at several cones underneath that tree, and they still suggest Jeffrey pine. So, okay, well, I'm guessing that's a Jeffrey pine. Wow, that's a nice one too. All right, let's see what else I find along this route. All right, so I'm hiking along and hiking along. This is an incredible place. It is so beautiful up here. Just love the vibe here. Yeah, it's so beautiful here. Wow. Looks like we're going to crest a hill. Small saddle, looks like, between that hill there and that peak up there. Wow. We're gonna get ready to cut through another beautiful meadow section too. Here's a nice beautiful black oak. Oh gosh, look at the lighting in that meadow too. It just has such a glorious color to it. All right. Definitely have to get some pictures in this meadow. Oh, I got some big trees coming up too. Let me get over to the meadow, get a picture of it. There's our big Jeffrey pine right here. This is a pretty stately one right here. Wow. That's an incredible Jeffrey pine right there. That's a pretty decent sized one too. Wow, what a beautiful tree. Wow, this is so glorious over here. It's still so green here. I guess the monsoons earlier this month kept things growing nice and green. Don't get me started about the aroma. The fragrance of this area is absolutely delectable. But I do have to get a picture of this meadow. But the angle pointing towards this way would have been a really poor light angle. So I'm probably gonna have to do it from up here, the upper part of this meadow. These gentle rolling hills. Wow. All right, I gotta get a few pictures of this. So here I am, still following this. I'm just gonna check this out first, just a minute. Okay, it's another one of those vegetation areas. It's another decent sized Jeffrey pine here too. Wow, yeah, there's some pretty big Jeffrey pines in this part of the mountain, the Laguna mountain area. The Red Tail Roost. Yep, so I'm still on the right track. I haven't had any side trails veer off except for that illegal footpath there that had that sign that says stay out. Okay, so now we're going to start getting back in the thicker of the woods. It looks like thicker parts of the woods over here. Gosh, man. This conglomeration of mini meadows and tall trees and gently rolling hills really makes for a magical aura. Okay, we're coming up on a road here. Okay, here's another road. So I'm gonna go head this way. Still says Red Tail Roost, so okay, if you're going to Red Tail Roost from that area, come up this road, bear left. Now we're going to go through another forested stretch. Wow. Really nice. All right. Oh yeah, more incense cedar over here too. In this part of this small ravine. I think this is a separate ravine from the other one, because I'm going up a different way than I came down. So we're in another little ravine right now. All right. Well, let's see what I find along the way on this track here. All right. Now this has been kind of lacking, but I got some extra botany to drop here. It looks like we got some scarlet monkey flower. Erythranthe cardinalis. Scarlet monkey flower. Growing right here. Wow. It's a summer bloomer up here. Oh, that is so cool. Haven't seen that this year until today. And here's a really miniature leafed arroyo willow, Salix lacceolipus. But yeah, we got some scarlet monkey flower. I think it's the first one I've seen this year. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Some more California goldenrod. And there's one plant you don't want to touch by any stretch of the imagination. It's this here. These upright plants here. That's hoary nettle. Urtica dioica subspecies holoceracea. Yeah, you don't want to mess with that. Don't want to mess with that. Unless you don't mind having a burning, stinging, itchy sensation on you. I kind of do, so I don't touch it. Enjoy looking at it. Oh, and we got, what was this? Erigeron foliosus, variety foliosus, I believe. Fleabane. I believe this is foliosus. Okay. And of course, dragon sagewort, aka wild tarragon, Artemisia dracunculus. A lot of that. You'll see that a lot of it's on this loop hike that I'm doing. You will see quite a bit of that. And another little seep. Oh, and broadleaf California fuchsia. Epilobium condom subspecies latifolium. You'll see some of that here too. What else will I find? Stay tuned to see what else I come across. We're coming up over by where there's a cabin. Some sections of cabins. There's a cabin over there. Kind of hard to see, but it's like 977 is the number. Now we're coming on a cabin community right here on the Big Laguna Trail. Site 977. Very interesting. Now it's getting real forested again. There's another site over there. Kind of keep my voice down. I'm hiking through here. People are kicking it here. I don't want to be too loud and disruptive. Oh, it's nicely forested here now again. The trees are getting taller again. All right. Let's see what else I find. We're getting to this really lush canyon now. The trees are getting tall again. All right, so I'm past, that was cabin 984. Oh, is it thick over here? California black oaks. Look at that. Just look at the sunlight off the meadow plants. Alright. So if you're hiking through this area, just don't be too loud, because other people think either rent or even live here. Rent cabins, or have summer cabins, maybe even just live here. So just be respectful when you're hiking through this section. Let's stick a little gate here. There's another cabin. I wonder if this is the Boiling Springs, Boiling Spring summer tract, summer home tract. I wonder if this is part of it. Okay. Actually, I have a junction coming up here. Okay, it's signed. So this here leads over towards the cabin over there. Probably, I think this is the Boiling Springs summer home track. So this is where you want to go. Bear right here at the junction. So if you want to get back to your Red Tail Roost. It's been a pretty gentle uphill. Pretty much most of the way back up this. It's been pretty gentle uphill. Nothing too bad. All right, well, let's see what else I come across. I'm on my way through the tall forest again. It's getting lush again, very lush. So I'm hiking through this forest of smaller, younger trees, going uphill, and then just got surprised by this big Jeffrey pine right here. Here's a nice, decent-sized one. Wow. There's an older one in there too, but the sun's right there. Yeah, there's another pretty decent sized tree in there too, right up on that slope. Gosh, this is absolutely stupendous here. You know, I'll definitely keep you updated on this loop hike. This is great. Next botanical stop on my tour of the area. That plant right there in the center, that's Durango root, Datisca glomerata. First time I've seen it here in the Lagunas. Or, I don't know, maybe it is. Yep. It loves to grow in these little gullies. We're hiking right next to a gully right now. Wow, this is absolutely exquisite here. There's a lot of incense cedar here too. A lot of incense cedar, a lot of California black oak, and of course Jeffrey pine. This is magnificent over here. Wow. And we're just basically a stone's throw from the desert. That's one thing about Southern California. You could be on a lushly forested canyon or ridgeline, peer out to your east or north, and it's arid desert. Or you could be in a low elevation canyon bottom in Anza-Borrego Desert State Park, or the Mojave Desert. Look up to your south or your west, and you can see lushly forested mountain canyons above you. That close. That close. The juxtaposition is really insane. All right, let's see what else I find on the way back on this beautiful journey. Still making my way uphill. Started steepening up a little bit here. This is the steepest I've seen it so far. A little rocky here. Just kind of watch your step. Gotta take my time going up this part here. It's been pretty steady uphill climb since leaving that meadow area. Nothing really that steep though, except this little part here. But it didn't last very long. Just about to level out momentarily. It's like this area burnt recently. Might have been a controlled burn. Maybe to thin out fuels. Wow. It's been an intoxicatingly beautiful hike. And I still got a little bit more to go, so stick with me. I know this video is getting long. We'll see what else is at the end of this one. Well, I know I'm getting really close to the Red Tail Roost area because I can hear the traffic on Sunrise Highway. So I'm just about back to the Red Tail Roost. Remember though, I'm parked at Agua Dulce Trailhead, so I'm gonna have to connect either along Sunrise Highway or find a trail to connect down that way. I'm pretty close to where I started filming my Fall Color 2023 video. My first clip was October 14th, 2023, and I was along this stretch of trail, so I know I'm really close to Red Tail Roost. Started filming some of the trees changing color and some of the shrubs, so I know I'm really close to the Red Tail Roost area. So what I'm thinking about doing is when I get to that trailhead, the Red Tail Roost, before I make my way to Agua Dulce on Wooded Hill Road, I think I'm going to make a side trip to one of the peaks I've previously visited here in the Lagunas. And I think on Peak Backer it's called Laguna Peak, but it's about a 6,100 foot promontory where there's a water tower and there's a gravelly road you can ascend to. It's a real easy hike, easy side trip. It'll get me another summit visit and add to this hike. So I'll see you when I'm back at Red Tail and see where I'm going to go from there. Okay, just about back here. So there's a junction here. I'm going to go take the left back to the picnic area. So that's where I came from. Just saw some hikers going up that way. I'm just about back at the parking area. So now what I got to do is look for a gravel road so I can go hike up to the summit. So small gravel road. Should be able to get to that small promontory. Let's see. If I can remember where it is from here real quickly. I think it's on this side of the parking lot. Okay, here it is. This is the road to Peak, to what I believe on Peak Backer is called Laguna Peak. I call it Peak 6080. It's between 6,080, 6,120 feet. So I'm going to go head up this way to reach the summit, so I can at least get a summit climb out of this. All right, I will see you up the way. Just follow this to the peak. Pretty simple. All right, so you see, working my way up this very gentle gravel road, getting over by a water tower. Pretty easy hike to get up to the top of this hill. And like I said, I believe it's called Laguna Peak. Bunch of different, at least a few different hilltops here with the name Laguna, usually unofficial names. There's Mount Laguna, which is Peak 6299, which is actually the highest point in the Cleveland National Forest. And it's right at the edge of it for the Agua Pipe Reservation. 6,299 feet. And there's, I believe this one again, I believe this is called Laguna Peak on Peak Backer. So yeah, Peak 6299. It's often called Mount Laguna. I think this is one that's called Laguna Peak. It's about 6,100 feet. 6080, 6120 on the topo maps. And it's a short uphill walk from the Red Tail Roost fact, this is the first of 3 peaks I climbed when I did peak 6299, which is over there, roughly in that area. All right, well, should be there in a couple minutes. See you at the top. Okay, so I'm getting pretty close to the summit right now. This will be the second time I've been on this one. Just gotta go look for where the high point is. Means I'll be leaving the road in a minute. Oh, that goldenrod. Okay. So the summit, okay. I remember, yes, there was a little climber's path over here. It should lead right over to the peak. Before you get to the water tower, see a little social trail, use trail. It'll lead you right to the summit. I'm just about there right now. Just about to summit this for the second time. Let's see. High point should be just a little off the trail here. Okay, let's see. All right. This is it. Peak 6080. Or Laguna Peak, I guess, according to Peak Bagger. So yeah. Look around here. I don't know if there's a summit register, but I believe this is on Peak Bagger, if I remember correctly. Relatively open and flat up here. Probably won't get to see too many views up here. So I'll just kind of walk around the summit plateau just a little bit. Kind of give you a perspective. Yes, indeed. This peak is just about 6,100 feet in elevation. Looked on Google Earth, and it's like 6,100 feet, basically. There's some slightly higher terrain over here, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and work my way around. But yeah, there's a little use trail kind of cutting through here. That's all about the same. This is it. It's the peak. Time for a quick summit selfie. And let's see here. Here's the old water tank. Right up here near the top of the hill. Hilltops seem to be pretty good places for water tanks, it seems like. So let's go walk around this. That's looking out towards Wooded Hill over there. 6,223 feet. Be passing by that trailhead on the way back. I'm almost tempted to make a quick run at that too, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how much energy I have. Wow, yeah. That's pretty cool. We're getting a few leaves changing here on the western chokecherries. Just a few here and there. Got this little single track here. Wonder where this leads. I'd hate to go down in the ravine and find it was in one of those illegal footpaths closed off for revegetation. So I'm gonna be a good boy and just head down the gravel road to Red Tail Roost and then just hoof it along Sunrise Highway. All right, well, basically see you when I'm back at Red Tail Roost for a quick update, and then to my next move, which will be hoofing it along Sunrise Highway, unless I can find a trail cutting through. We'll see about that. Okay, I am just about back at Red Tailed Roost staging area and volunteer area. Now, I'm going to look around to see if there's a trail that can connect me to either Wooded Hill Campground or Agua Dulce, or I'll just have to hoof it along Sunrise Highway. So I'll see how this goes. I'm kind of curious if I can find a trail that can link me to either Agua Dulce or Wooded Hill. I am still considering climbing up Wooded Hill too during this hike, but first off, see if I can work my way to the Agua Dulce area. Looks like I'm gonna have to take the road. Alright, so here I'm back at Sunrise Highway. This is Red Tailed Roost. So I guess I'm gonna have to hoof it along Sunrise for a little while until I get to the Agua Dulce Trailhead, or turn off for Wooded Hill Road. So I'm gonna have to hoof it along Sunrise for a while. So I gotta go head south on it. So when you come out of the parking area, if you're gonna do the loop I'm doing, turn right onto Sunrise Highway. So we'll see. Might be climbing Wooded Hill possibly as well. Maybe do the short option to get up there. We'll see. Just gotta keep this going for now. There's Thing Valley Road. So what I did is when I hiked up to that peak I was just visiting, then I went down that way, went to peak 6299, then hit a small peak where the Cui Pepe Reservoir is. But all right, I'm gonna keep heading down Sunrise Highway and just keep careful here. I'll see you on my next clip. Sure, there's a lot of western chokecherry along the side of the road here. Very beautiful. Full of fruit and everything. So yeah, thankfully, there's a decent sized shoulder. So I'm using that. It's like we got point leaf manzanita here too. Arctostaphylos pungens, it looks like, growing along the side of here too. Really see too much of it here in the Lagunas. Wow. There's an ornamental lilac bush over there somewhere. And a mulberry tree? I know it's an old homestead over that way. An old rusty looking thing. Pretty interesting. Alright. Well, there's a nice canyon live oak right here. Right near the side of the road. Alright. I've driven past this countless times, but never done this on foot, so it's kind of different. Alright. There's an old chimney over there. Must be an old historic site. It's fenced off pretty vigorously. Alright. Interesting. I don't know if there's any literature on it. All I see is a chimney. I don't see any signage. I'm curious because I pass it all the time when I'm coming up here. So we're near the top of Sunrise Highway. We're just about 6,000 feet right now again. Oh, skunk brush started to change color already. Roost aromatica. It's already starting to change color. Sometimes late summer you get a little preview. Already starting to get a little fall color. Though it's still the end of August. Alright, I'll see you on the next clip. Here's a pretty decent sized Jeffrey pine right here, right along the side of Sunrise Highway. Wow, that's a pretty nice sized one. Oh boy. Pretty decent one. You know, you're driving, you really can't be looking too much. There's a nice meadow here too. Right here, it's just about 6,000 feet. We're roughly about 6,000 foot contour, maybe a couple feet above it. There's a beautiful meadow over here. I saw it look like Wooded Hill kind of off in the distance a little bit, so I might have to hoof it along here for quite a while. It's easy walking. It's very easy walking. A little uphill coming up to about here, and now it's close to level. Yeah, it's pretty level here. I don't really feel much. Maybe a slight uphill. Maybe. It was actually even leveled off more than it was before, and it was a very gentle uphill climb. Beautiful meadow. All right, well, see you down the way. All right, so I'm coming up on the junction. Morris Ranch Road's going to branch off that way, and Wooded Hill Road's going to branch off that way and start going down towards Wooded Hill Camp, and also the Agua Dulce Trailhead where I'm parked. Nice western chokecherries over here. There's so much of it here. But yeah, so I should be closing up the loop pretty soon. Like I said, I'm thinking about making a climb up to Wooded Hill to round out this hike, round out this video. So we'll see about that. All right, so this is the road onto which I drove to get to the Agua Dulce Trailhead. This is Agua Dulce Trailhead. Yeah, you can see here. This is Wooded Hill Road. So right there is Morris Ranch Road. That's where I did my hike up to Galaxy Way Hill High Point last week. Was at the end of the drivable portion of that, or the end of the visitors driving. So that's Morris Ranch, and this is Wooded Hill Road, 15S10. So I'm gonna go follow this down to the Wooded Hill Trailhead. Wooded Hill Trailhead will be on your left. Normally I'm driving this, and Wooded Hill Campground will be more on the right. So I'll see you down the way. Alright, so we're approaching the Wooded Hill Trailhead. So I think this will be my last side trip of the day before wrapping up my day's adventure. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm probably going to see if I can find a place to sit down for a few minutes to get something to sip on before I start hiking up again. This is where the Wooded Hill Loop Trail is. And you actually go up to the summit of Wooded Hill. Okay, so that goes to the group campground. Yeah, Wooded Hill Group Campground is just down that little side road there, that little spur. And then the Wooded Hill Nature Trail starts about here. So about a 1.5 mile hike. So first I'm going to go sit down, get a sip of water, keep hydrated, and I'm going to start working my way up the hill. Alright, well, I am thus going to start the Wooded Hill Nature Trail loop. So this will be another loop hike that I'm doing in addition to the big loop I did cutting down through Agua Dulce, back up towards Red Tail Roost, and then over here. So this should be about a 300-foot elevation gain, I believe, to get to the top. And I'm taking the clockwise direction. So I'll come out at the other side, near where that van was parked, if I showed it on camera. So this will be about a 1.5 mile loop. So between here and my car should be roughly about 2 miles more of walking, considering that I'm doing a side trip up to Wooded Hill. This will be my 3rd time up there, 2nd time on film. Last time I was here is November of 2022, if you're interested in checking out that video. Alright, here I go, up the hill. Alright, see you up the way. These western chokecherries are also starting to show signs of fall color. Wow, that's pretty cool. It's already starting to get fall color up here in late August, or like at the very end of August. Today's the 28th again. Yeah, I've noticed quite a few chokecherries starting to show signs of coloring. So yes, I'm doing the clockwise loop. Last time I did the counterclockwise loop. Start out the other end. Glad there are a lot of trees here. It's starting to warm up. It's not really bad. It's getting warm. The sun's been out for a good few hours already. But it's very beautiful hike here. At least there are a lot of trees here. It's a good thing about this peak is it's wooded. A lot of trees to keep you shaded. Alright. I'll keep you posted. I'll make my way up Wooded Hill for the 3rd time in my life. Alright, we're coming up to the junction of the short loop, which would mean just going down this way. It goes back to the trailhead. Alright, so again, I'm about to get this junction here. I had to switch out my memory card. So this will take you back to the trailhead. This should do the loop up to the summit and around back this way. So here we go. Yeah, I figured I'd run out of memory. Yeah, this is going to be a really long video, but just need to show some variety of this area. So here I go. Up the hill once again. Yeah. And after this, after I'm done with Wooded Hill, is when I'm going to start working my way back down and back to my car, and I think this will be about it for me today. I've been out here for a cool minute, so it's worth it though. Right through the trees. Monument Peak. Right there, Monument Peak. Been up there a few times now. Try to go up there at least once a year. At least once a year. Was up there at the end of May. So it's about 3 months ago. All right. I can still hear the traffic on Sunrise Highway. So not that far from it. Well, keep on moving. Right through this beautiful Jeffrey Pine forest. Catch you on the next clip. Alright, so I'm still squiggling my way up this hill. I saw this from down below. It's black oak, almost like it's coloring already. Wow, that's weird. Kind of early. Kind of interesting though, to be honest. One California black oak already in fall color. It's weird. Again, August 28th. Still got about 3 weeks of summer left. Or 3.5 weeks of summer left. Now we're kind of walking the ridge line a little bit now. May not have the most insane 360 views on the top of Wooded Hill, but it is a beautiful area regardless. Yeah, it's all western chokecherry, already changing color in late August. All right. There's Stevenson Peak, south of Monument Peak, with the radar dome on top of it. Yeah, Stevenson Peak. It's too bad you can't hike up to the top of that. Legally hike to the top of that. Skunk brush, Rus aromatica, changing color. And there's a nice breeze up here too. Feels really nice. A lot of Rus aromatica up here too, changing color already. Forgive the wind noise. It feels nice though, not gonna lie. Alright. Little autumn preview already. The very end of August. It's a little preview of what's to come. Hopefully, maybe later next month, September, I'll start my Volume 2 of Southern California Fall Color. There are some areas where leaves start changing a little earlier. Apparently, this is one of them. Maybe we had a couple chilly nights up here, maybe. But already started to change very nice colors already. It's already noticeable. The fact that we're still in August, it's kind of interesting. But looks like we already got a fall color preview. So yeah, I'm looking forward to recording Volume 2 this autumn. Probably it'll go from late September to December. So be on the lookout towards the end of the year in a few more months. Maybe around Christmas again. All right, I'll see you up the way. We'll keep hoofing it up. All right, I believe I'm nearing the summit. You're in the summit right now, actually. I think we kind of wind around the backside of it for a couple of minutes. And then there'll be an area where there's a small pile of rocks for a quick Class 2 summit climb. One little rocky area. Yeah, I remember this little part here. So we're kind of circling the summit right now. We're on the south side of the mountain now. Summit Rock should be up here. Just got to go connect over to them really quickly. Here's the last little spur up to the top. Here we go. Final summit push. Okay, which one of these is the highest? Got to remember which one of these is the highest. You have to kind of remember a little bit. Oh, it's over here. Okay. All right. So the summit rocks are over here. Just about to summit Wooded Hill for the third time. Okay. Yep, this is where the summit rocks are. Right here. Alright, I'm going to put my backpack down. Yeah, here's the summit block right here. Okay. Time to do a class 2 climb up to the top. Okay. All right. Whoa. Here we go. Here I am. Wooded Hill. 6,223 feet. Third time up here. Oh, steep class 2 climb to get up here. So this will be my second summit of the day, or for this video. Actually my third of the day, but second on this hiking trip. First one was I did Peak 5933 from over by Kitchen Creek Road. That was earlier. So yeah, I'll just do a quick 360 south. East. Northeast. North. And back to the west. So yeah, it's my third time up here, second time on video. A lot of trees in the view, but it's a beautiful summit regardless. Nice easy hike to get up here. 1.5 miles if you do the full loop, which means going to the summit. If you go up to the summit, unless you find a way to do an out and back, you can try that, but I'll probably just take the loop down. All right, time to get a couple shots in my summit selfie. Time to start working my way down. All right, now I'm gonna leave the summit area, start hiking downhill. Should be just about all downhill the rest of the way. So this should start the closing half of the loop now that I'm past the destination point. Okay, here we go. Now down the hill. Back down towards the trailhead. The fragrance of Jeffrey pine is so strong over here. Well, I think I see San Isidro Mountain from here, I think. think that's it over there. Not the one in the foreground. Way off. I don't see it too well on camera. But I think I see San Isidro Mountain from here. Yeah, it looks like it. Still want to do that one. But the old Cherry Canyon route, which is actually on the 100 Peaks section list, it looks like it's all private property now. Like I said, I've said in other videos, I tried going there back in December of last year, and it ended up being a no-go because I kept seeing private property signs everywhere, even where it used to say BLM land. So it was kind of disappointing. So here we go. I'll have to try the cross-country route from S22. S22 or S2? I think it's S22, I believe. Right, just east of Ranchita, just east of the community, just right outside the eastern property lines of some homeowner. There's a cross-country route. If you stay east of the fence, you're gonna have to get up to San Isidro, and pretty much all trailless terrain. So I still want to hit that 6,147 foot peak. Okay. So we're kind of winding our way around the backside of the peak again. However, we're going to be going down this way. It's going to branch off. See here, I believe this is like a little connector right here. This probably will take you up to the summit area. Right up here, there's a connector trail here. I'm just going to follow this one back through the loop back to the trailhead area. All right, well, see you down the way for a few more updates. Probably won't be much longer in the video left. And you come over here past the little trail marker. The trails have little numbered signs, I guess for interpretive things. When you get down here past 21, between 21 and 22, that's marker 22 over there. There's a little trail here on the side, but I think this is an area closed. Yeah, I believe so. So just stay right at this fork, and then you know you're going the right way if you see the number 22 on the rock. I'll show it to you right as we're passing it by right now. If you see the number 22, you're going the right way after seeing number 21. So you'll see numbers on rocks and posts along the side of the trail. I guess there's some type of interpretive guide you can upload, download or whatever. You can download it or something, unless they have a little trailhead pamphlet, which I don't remember seeing. So there's number 23. So yeah. Yeah, the last time I was going up this way and down the other side. Yeah, very nice. Very nice to get in this more substantial hike here in Cleveland National Forest. Very glad I came up here. Very, very glad. This time next week it's probably going to be in the 90s. It's going to be a little too hot for me. Which means it'll probably start off much warmer in the morning too. Next week I might go closer to the coast, unless I decide to take a break, which I kind of hope doesn't happen. Taking a break is no fun, especially when you rely on hiking to keep you going and keep you in good spirits. But it has been a magnificent day out here. Magnificent day out here in the Lagunas. And I apologize in advance if this is a really long video. But there's a lot to see and a lot to do. And I figured I would slam this together into one whole tour. So, Agua Dulce, Red Roost, Wooded Hill. It's basically going to be in the title, probably in the title of this video. Fantastic day out here. All right. A little bit more to go. I'll see you when I'm down the way. See if anything else interesting pops up. I'm just quietly sauntering down. Came across a hollyleaf redberry, Rhamnus ilicifolia. Pretty cool. Yeah. Just trying to close out this loop today. This is basically, this hike is, except for a few moderately steep spots going up, it's a pretty gentle saunter in the woods. It's just been very peaceful. Just listening to the birds and the mountain music. The wind through the needles of the trees, pine trees. Yep. Yep. Sounds of the mountains. Just another good thing about being in the mountains. Alright. Well, keep you posted when I'm near the road. See you on the next clip. Alright, so just about at the junction. So that's the way I went. That's where I just came. And now, time to head back to the trailhead. So looks like I'm gonna make a balloon loop out of this one. It looks like, I think. Oh no! No! I think I passed it, yeah, I passed this junction on the way up. So I came from a different direction. Yeah. That's the way I came up the first time, if I remember correctly. Alright. Working my way down this. Alright. Well, I'll see you basically on down by the trail. Alright, just about back at the trailhead. Just about back at the trailhead. Right here. So this is where the other side of the loop comes out. Right here, right by that van. So last time I was here, I went up that way and came down this way. So yeah, here it is. That's where I started, and that's where I finished. So now it's time to start heading along the road to finish out the major loop of the day. So I did a loop. I bubbled out for another loop while still completing a greater loop. So down this way to Agua Dulce. Back in my car in a few minutes, and it should be time to hit the highway, get back. It's warming up out here. Still not too bad. Started this hike at around 7:15, around that time. Right now, it's just a little bit after 11. It's like 11:09 right now. put some miles in on this hike. Very beautiful hike. Glad I made the side trips that I did. I was expecting just to come back and just loop, do the solid loop, but I'm glad I made the side trips to the 2 summits. So I made a nice little double summit hike out of this one, and then I hiked to a small peak on my first hike of the day, which is a really short one. So hit 3 peaks today, 2 on this hike and 1 on the previous one, and it's been a great day out here. I'll see you by the car for some last updates coming up. All right, just about back at my car at the Agua Dulce Trailhead. This is it right here. Parked right over there. A lot of equestrian trailers here. People must have their horses going out today. It's pretty cool. Plenty of room here in Laguna to do it. Has been a great hike. Very great hike today. Really good day. Glad I did the hike I did. I'm glad I made it more than I thought it was going to be. It's just great for me. It's going to be great getting out here. Finish this off. Right over here. Oh, there are some incense cedars parked here at the trailhead. Oh, here you go. Cedars decurrens. Mentioning earlier in my video that these don't have traditional pine cones. Cypress family, actually. They kind of look like duckbills when they're not developed. And then they'll split open. Kind of look like duckbills. The thing about cypress family, sometimes they have some very interesting shaped cones. So yes, glad I explored the Agua Dulce area. I can see that there definitely are a lot of incense cedars down there. Very good. But another thing to note, at this trailhead, again, here's another incense cedar right here. We also have planted here is a giant sequoia, a relative of the incense cedar, Sequoia giganteum. This one's got unripe cones in it too. These cones look a little more traditional, like cypress or even pine cones in a way. They're just smaller. They're like your traditional cones, as you can see there. Yep, Sequoia giganteum. If you want some more information about this tree, I do a pretty in-depth spotlight video. I did a very in-depth spotlight video back in October last year in the Trail of 100 Giants area. If you want some more general information about this tree. But yes, we do have a beautiful giant sequoia planted here at the trailhead. Well, nothing left for me to do but unpack, get back in the car, start heading towards home after a fantastic day here in the mountains. Thanks for coming along this venture. If you stuck it out, thanks for sticking it out. I do appreciate the fact that people do sometimes stick out my videos. I know they're long, especially this one, but I hope you did get some enjoyment out of it. And even if you just watched portions of it, I hopefully what you saw made you want to come out here and hike it for yourself. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on my next adventure.